guys, Anime West Reacts here is going to review for Sachi-iro One Room, Chapter 42. And so this chapter pretty much starts off with the cover page saying, "Where can I run?" And then just title or name of the series is like seemingly Sachi holding a coin or someone holding up a coin. Sorry about the silence, but can't do something. Can't do nothing about the internet being choppy. But so we pretty much start the chapter by going over to Mr. and Matsuoka. Matsuoka saying you dropped your bag because he just like drops it because he's looking at his phone and sees the whole headline thing about Sachi on the news, I guess, or the mom's statement, I guess, or no, that's not what he sees. I'm dumb. So yeah, Matsuoka asks him what's wrong. He says Sachi and that guy are gone because. So Matsuoka's like, what? And so yeah, you look at you see his phone and it shows that they're gone. Pretty much, Matsuoka brings up the fact that they had a camera in their room as well. And so immediately the Mister just darts off to go home, pretty much, or like after them, essentially. He like rushes off. In which Matsuoka ends up having to follow after him. Because, yeah, he's like, hey, and then he's like, wait up. And so one of the workers that is also at the place they were at is like, sorry, we're leaving now. And she's like, no running, this isn't a school. And Matsuoka's like, I already told you that I'm not in middle school. And so, yeah, then he's like, the next bus won't be here for 40 minutes. Master can run. And so Matsuoka pretty much just calls up a taxi. And then ends up having to just throw Mr. into it because he's just trying to move as quickly as possible, and it's faster to have a car than it is probably to be on foot. So yeah, he ends up grabbing Mr. by the arm, pulling him over, and saying, "There's a taxi, lucky us." Or it was people that had gotten out of a taxi that he had seen. Thought it was people getting into one, but no. He saw some people getting out of a taxi and decided to just hop into that one. Because, yeah, like I said, it's faster for them to get a cab than it is to just try to run back there as quickly as possible. And so, yeah, they get in the taxi, he says, towards Kami Mazaki stat. So yeah, Mr.'s like, why are you tagging along too? And he's like, it's cheaper to split the ride. Besides, it worries me that Yashiro's gone too. My phone's still confiscated. So he's like, did something make the headlines today? And then he's like, headlines. And so yeah, this is when they find out about like the whole statement thing, or the news finally reporting about Sachi. Yeah. Because Matsuoka's like, I knew it. It was about time. And so the news says, like, it says news, entertainment, sports. One says fingerprints of missing 14-year-old XXX found in a Tokyo apartment. Entertainment says that a popular idol group announces disbandment after 7 years. And sports is someone Hoshikaya Yu becomes the world something or other. And so yeah, then Matsuoka's like, those two most likely saw the article. And then Mr. kind of like starts piecing it together, remembering like how she's been acting this entire time, how she's been acting strange ever since we got to this town. her mood swings are more intense compared to before, and she's become able to speak clearly about what's on her mind. Not to mention, there's something she seems to be terrified of. So yeah, she kind of like changed since they got here. She's not as, I don't know what the word would be. Obedient is not the right word, but I guess subdued might be the word I'm looking for. Since they came to this town, she's kind of like gotten more brash about how she does things and what she says and stuff like that. But yeah, so the mister kind of like started. He took notice of it, but he was letting it slide for a while. And then he thinks about what she told him about Matsuoka taking custody of her. And then he pretty much just outright asked Matsuoka, he's like, by the way, I heard you said some unnecessary things to Sachi again. What are you playing at? And he just kind of looks at him and says, more choices the better. That goes for Sachi and you. It's just that you two seem to ignore valid choices laid out in front of you. It's almost like you're unconsciously pushing away every opportunity that can make the situation better. You're so positively convinced that you're stuck in a bad situation that you're content as long as things don't get worse. So Mister's like, what would you know about us? And Matsuoka says, a lot actually, because I was also once in your shoes. Which we've seen, he kind of was in both of their shoes in the past. Given by the flashback we saw before, he was in the same situation as Sachi, just had different stuff go down with it. And so he's like, Matsuoka's like, give me back my phone once we're home. Yashiro isn't that careless. He most likely secretly got his phone back already. So then we go over to Sachi and Yashiro, and like he brought up, they're kind of just taking a walk. And so he's thinking, I brought my phone with me while XXX-on wasn't looking. Laugh. Yeah, sorry about these pauses. It's like taking forever for the pages to load as I'm like reading them. But yeah, so he grabbed his phone like Matsushiro's. I don't know if I said his name right. Matsuoka, yeah. Well, like he said, he pretty much took his phone while Sachi wasn't looking. And he's like, I wonder if she'd kill me if she found out. But leaving without it would have made me uncomfortable. So, yeah. So, yeah, he's like, there's no sign of people, even though it's not that late yet, thank God. What a stark difference from Tokyo. So, yeah. Now that they're out, like, in, I guess, like, the suburbs / country, there's not all that many people around. So, going for a walk is kind of less dangerous. Then he kind of thinks about how he used to take a lot of aimless walks back when he hadn't found a job yet. How nostalgic, but right now it might be better to decide a destination of sorts, the exact location. Yeah. So trying to figure out, like, probably better to have somewhere to go, but exactly where to go doesn't matter as long as it calmer down. So he says, hey, XXX, Sachi-san, was thinking we could walk to the shrine nearby. How does that sound? And she just says, fine by me. And she's got something in her pocket that she's like messing with, making some sounds, whatever it is. So they get to the shrine. He says, or Yoshino says, yeah, it's the shrine itself is just up these stairs, so let's go check it out, okay? And she takes up off or I guess she like walks faster than him, or she like runs up the stairs, and he's like, "Wait for me, Sachi," and it's just like pathetic. Could fly up these stairs with no problem when I was a teen. I guess I'm starting to get old. So yeah, they get up to the shrine. see it. It looks really nice. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, they get up to the shrine, take a look around, and get like some kind of moments. Sachi commenting on it, say, I think this might be the first time I've ever set foot in a shrine. He's like, are you interested? And she's like, your question just made me your question just made me lose all interest. And he's like, what's that mean? And he's like, hold out your hand. And she's like, my hand? And he's like, you don't need to be so cautious around me. Have a coin. And she's like, what the hell, you're a creep. He's like, huh, you never heard of this? You toss some coin into the box and ring the bell. And she's like, why would I do that? He's like, well, I'm not too sure either. It's just a tradition. I think it might be a way to show our appreciation to the gods. And so, yeah, she's like dumbfounded. It's like, why would you do that? So, yeah. And it just moment with them at the shrine. Like, she doesn't say anything. She's kind of dumbfounded, and Yoshino is just like, oh yeah, I get it. You don't believe in God. Gotcha. He says, well, this is just a matter of heart. You can just think of it as a lesson on society. Why don't you give it a try, since we're here and all? And he's like, have you ever heard of Hatsune Mode? Not everyone who practices Hatsune Mode believes in God, but they still do it because it brings them a peace of mind. I only know the most basic way of worship, but I'll show you how. Like, first, you toss some change into the money box. Next, you tug this rope and ring the bell. Bow twice, clap twice, bow once more. That's about it, I guess. And he says, oh, when you clap your hands, you should line them together like this, but there's no need to worry about the small stuff. Just give it a go. So yeah, she does it. And she's thinking both gods and this ritual were probably things that we humans made up, but or this old building survived because there are people who still believe in such things. And then she kind of thinks about it, like, gods, huh? Or she like starts thinking about like religious stuff, so like gods and how, yeah, like she said, probably just things we made up to give us peace of mind, but one of the things that she brings up is like how much easier would it be if she could like blame all her problems on God. But she also says that she can't even trust those she can see in front of her eyes, so she doesn't think she could ever believe in something that she can't see. But she says, but how easy would things be if I could? After all, if I believed in such things, then I could blame everything that has ever happened on God. And then she's like, hey God, if you're really out there, then tell me, will I ever be happy? And so then she does the things that Yoshioka told her, clap twice, bow twice, that type of stuff. And then he's like, oh, all done, what did you wish for? And she's like, no, nothing, I only did what you taught me. And he's like, no way, well, it's fine, the days have gotten so short already, I should have worn a few more layers. And she calls him pathetic. And he says, alright, let's go home. Those two should be back soon. Might bump into someone if we stay here too long. And someone says, oh, it's rare to see visitors. And there's this new girl. And she says, good evening. And that's the chapter. So yeah, I've got them kind of getting seen by someone when they're not supposed to. Sachi kind of having a nice talk about like God and how easy life would probably be if she just believe in God, because then she could just blame everything on God's, say everything's God's fault, type of thing. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good chapter, so I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, then make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, share the video, check the links down below to stuff like my Twitter, Twitch, and Discord, and I will see y'all next. I'm gonna make the next video, so yeah, later.